Hey guys, my name is Matt and I've been obsessed with Farever lately. First off, thank you so much for all the positive comments, likes and subs. I really appreciate it. I love doing these videos and the support from you guys really means a ton. Now, based on the votes in the previous video, here's the beginner warrior guide you guys asked for. Quick disclaimer, this guide is primarily aimed at newer players who are deciding on what class to play. So let's jump right in. If I didn't have to address an elephant in the room first, I am not a warrior player. In fact, I usually play all classes except warrior. I was 100% sure that I would never play warrior in this game. I even argued with my brother about it, and I've never been so wrong in my life. Let me be very clear. If you're thinking about playing warrior, just do it. In my opinion, warrior is the poster child of Farever. It has super responsive combat, great damage, solid survivability, the option to tank or DPS, and an amazing array of fun weapons. But let's start with the basics. Warrior's identity revolves around building rage through basic attacks and weapon skills. You spend that rage on your identity skill, Raging Smash, an AoE that damages, interrupts, and knocks back nearby enemies. It only costs half of your rage bar and has no cooldown, so you can weave it smoothly into your combos. It feels absolutely fantastic to use. The warrior's speedy nature is further complemented by Charge, your first skill at level 3, an amazing gap closer that stuns enemies for 1 second and can be steered mid-cast. It's also valuable as a repositioning tool and has saved me more times than I can count. Level 5 brings Ignore Pain, reducing all incoming damage by 40% for 12 seconds on a 1-minute cooldown. Your next skill is Battle Shout. Unlocked at level 10, it grants you and your allies 20% critical chance for 15 seconds. With the right rune, it also becomes a strong taunt for tanks, as it forces all enemies in the area to attack you. At level 15, you will receive Surging Force, a small frontal cone stun, which also deals damage. It's a great skill, but with only 4 skills on the bar, it's a no-brainer to exchange for Berserk, at least in my opinion. Unlocked at level 20, Berserk increases all damage done by 20% for 15 seconds, as well as generates additional rage during this time. A rune will also give you a small heal on taking damage. In short, even your class skills have 2 stuns, a gap closer, damage mitigation, crit buff, damage buff, taunt, and self-healing. The warrior's class kit is just incredibly complete. Moving on to the talents, and as always, I'll just brush over them for this beginner guide. Your main talent is Hemorrhage, a passive that causes heavy bleeding on physical crits. From there, you get strong options for either more damage, cooldown resets, crit buffs, or self-sustain through shields and healing, which again proc based off of critical attacks and Hemorrhage's stick damage. Before we move on to the weapons, I find that you will get most of them just by leveling up and doing contested treasure chest quests. Trying to farm them isn't really viable unless it's a boss weapon. It's also important to know that Farever has a system called Arsenal Weapons. This allows you to equip an additional active or passive skill from any weapon you can wear, increasing to 2 skills at level 20. As to the weapons, I feel like this area is where Warrior shines more than any class I've tried so far. Not only does it have a ton of great options, but they also synergize with his kit incredibly well. We have a lot to go through, so let's jump right in. We'll first cover the shields, as these provide some great passives and actives, and then focus on the other weapons. Warrior starts with the Rough Shield. It only has a single active skill called Shield Bash. It's on a 12-second cooldown and deals damage to an enemy while also stunning them for 1.5 seconds. It's solid, but gets outclassed later. Things get more interesting with the Dominion. The shield is usually found in the overworld at any of the contested chests after Prime Valley. Its first skill, Fortifying Cry, gives allies a 100% armor increase and a 25% movement buff for 10 seconds. Its passive skill, Heartsteel, makes your next final combo attack deal additional damage. For the next 15 seconds after that, you will take 10% less damage. Krabgantua's Kneecap is essentially a healing shield. Either found in the overworld or finishing the Krabgantua's Gorge dungeon, its Stepped Shield skill spawns a bubble with 4 charges. These 4 charges deal damage to the enemy, while also healing you and your allies for each tick of damage they do. Its passive, Shield of Devourer, will deal magic damage to all nearby enemies every 4th block. Last but not least, the Magma Mia. I can't believe the devs made me say it out loud. I received the shield in the overworld, but you can farm it in the ruins of Gorgon's Hollow dungeon, located in south of Azuram. Think of this as your magic shield, because its first skill quite literally channels a breath of fire for 3 seconds, dealing damage to any enemy in its path. Not only that, if you block an attack, you are engulfed in flames for 4 seconds, dealing damage to all enemies near you. Summarizing the shields, the rough shield gets outclassed pretty early on. As for the others, if you want to up your defense, pick Dominion. If you need heals, grab Crab Gantua's kneecap, and if you want offense, Magma Mia should be your go-to, especially if you have high intellect stat. Moving on to the one-handed weapons. Your first sword will be the Light Practice Sword. It has a simple 4-attack combo chain, with the final combo hit reducing the cooldown of all weapon skills by half a second. Its first active, Cleave, deals AoE damage by smashing the ground, as well as generates threat on impact. Given the cooldown, it's a really good tanking option early on. Glory is found in the overworld from contested chests. It's one of my favorite weapons in game, whether in the main hand or as an arsenal weapon. Again, it has a 4-combo basic attack, with the last hit having a 40% chance to reduce your offhand's cooldown by 3 seconds. The skill that really shines is called Conquer, a small AoE damage skill. What makes it great is the fact that the cooldown resets on a perfect block, which makes it feel a lot like the Lancer in Terra for those who played it. It's super satisfying, especially once you learn the patterns of monsters. Your last skill is Righteous Resolve, which is a small continuous heal for everyone in your party, as long as you have at least 2 enemies around you. Cheese Moon is one of the weapons to look out for if you need sustain. You can get it in the Ratsar dungeon in Enripit. As soon as you get it, make sure to get its passive, Blood Rage Aura, to rank 3. This passive gives you a 10% heal on critical hit with any physical attack, and it only has a 3-second cooldown, giving Warrior crazy good sustain, especially since Warriors have a great crit rate with their kit. Once you unlock the rank 3 skill, throw it in your arsenal slot and just live forever. Cheese Moon otherwise has a 4-hit attack combo, which increases your critical rate by 5%, and it also hits quite hard. Its active is called Bone Throw. As the name suggests, you throw a bone at up to 3 enemies, dealing damage and causing them to bleed over 8 seconds. Bee Fury is hands down my favorite sword. It's dropped either by the Lady Bee dungeon boss on top of the Hive Tree in Honeywoods, or received in the overworld, also in the Honeywoods area. It has a really cool looking 4-hit basic attack combo, with the final hit dealing damage and healing your whole party. Its active skill is called Hive Sunder, a cleaving damage skill that reduces the enemy's magic resistance by 40% for 10 seconds, giving it to you instead. The passive skill Swarm Lord makes your weapon skills surround you by a swarm of bees, which increases your armor by 10% and damage your enemy every 2 seconds while also healing you in the same interval. Let's take a look at the two-handed options next. You can expect Judgment to be one of the first weapons you get in-game, and it's just phenomenal. The basic attack is a 4-combo move, and the weight of it feels extremely satisfying to use. It'll also increase your physical mastery by up to 12% on the last hit. The weapon has 2 active skills, Shockwave and Rampage. Shockwave is a heavy frontal damage attack that stuns enemies for 4 seconds, and it pairs incredibly well with Rampage, an extremely heavy-hitting charge-up attack that smashes the ground, basically killing most normal mobs in just this one combo. I was mobbing comfortable at level 4 with this combination. It felt super strong, but of course, when fighting bosses or elite mobs, it's not quite as broken. Judgment also has a passive skill, which increases your damage on CC'd mobs by 25%. Moving on to my least favorite weapon of the warrior kit, Lady Bee's Ceremonial Stinger. It's fun to use, and maybe it's due to my stat allocation, but I just didn't find it to hit very hard. The weapon has a 4-hit basic attack combo, which generates a dart on the last hit. Once you have 3 darts, every next final attack will shoot one of them at the enemy, dealing magic damage. Its passive is called Unstable Goo, which makes magic attack crits coat the enemies in goo, slowing them down for 8 seconds. If a physical attack crits on a good enemy, it will ignite and deal damage over time. The first active skill is called Stingerang, and it's actually my favorite skill on this weapon due to it being pretty unique. It fires off a stinger, which damages all enemies in its path, after which the stinger returns to you, pulling enemies towards you. Great against pesky casters. Its second active is Apex Dash, a close-range AoE damage skill which you can upgrade to 2 charges. The cool part is that the cooldown of 12 seconds is reduced by 1 second for every monster you hit with it, making it a potent mobbing weapon. It can also be reset at a 40% rate by critting with a physical attack on a good enemy. The last weapon in the two-handed section is the Pocket Hive. It's a hive on a stick that I've used for far too long due to its satisfying animations and sound effects. It has a 4-hit combo attack, and its final attack will end up summoning an angry bee swarm, which damages the enemies for 15 seconds. It can also reset your second active skill, Brood Leap. Brood Leap makes you fly at your enemies over a distance and slam the ground, dealing heavy damage, leaving behind an area that damages enemies who stand in it. It also has a 25% chance to make that same area heal your party. The other active is called Reverse Honey Spin. It pulls nearby enemies towards you and deals quite heavy damage to them. The weapon's passive, called Mad Buzz, will help you summon bees when you take or receive damage. Now, let's move on to the final section, the dual-wielding weapons. Warrior gets access to Iron Fins of the Leviathan in the first area of the game, or the first dungeon. The fast-hitting nature of it generates a lot of rage, and your Raging Smash skill has no cooldown, so they synergize super well for high damage. The 5-combo basic attack gives you a 4% buff on your crit rate, while the active skill, Abyssal Fury, is a small AoE damage skill that causes your attacks to deal an additional physical damage hit at a 30% chance. It also grants you a shield for 35% of your missing HP, but given that the cooldown is 20 seconds, you're unlikely to profit off of using it as an oh shit button. The second active is called Groundswell Strike, a close-range AoE attack on a 10-second cooldown. The skill gets its cooldown reduced by 1.5 seconds for every other skill you cast, meaning that in practice this will be every 5th skill you cast, which you can then just follow up with Raging Smash, giving you quite crazy damage. The skill will also heal you if you kill enemies with it. Now, the title of the "Why the hell isn't this on Rogue" goes to the Wing Sabers, which you will get in Honeywood, or it will be dropped by Queen Honeyzabeth, a high-level dungeon. I was initially planning to play Bee Fury and Magma Mia on my warrior, but Wing Sabers took the spotlight and just never left it. I tell you how many hits the basic attack combo has, but it's honestly too hard to count. Just know that on the final hit of the combo, you will generate a stack of Blade Leaf. It can stack up to 4 times, and once you use your Raging Smash, it will use up the stacks to deal additional magic damage, the damage being quite significant at 4 stacks. Hiveborn Blossom is the first active skill on Wing Sabers. It deals short-range AoE damage and can be recast within 4 seconds, making it hit for double damage the second time around while also ignoring the enemy's magic resistance. The second active skill, Swarm Strike Accord, is a bit more boring, being a 12-second buff on your party which deals additional magic damage on all of your attacks. It does add up though, especially with dual-wielding weapons with fast attack speeds. The weapon's passive is called Queen's Decree, and it causes a magic damage skill to have double damage every 20 seconds. While it's on cooldown, your critical hits will also deal a small amount of additional magic damage. Let's close this section off with the Pillars of Justice. You will find these at the endgame. I personally received it from the Cheese Station dungeon boss. The weapon has a quick 4-hit basic attack combo. On the final hit, it gives you an 18% physical damage buff on the enemy you're hitting. The first active skill is Zealous Spin, a 3-hit AoE damage skill which can be recast within 3 seconds, debuffing the enemy's armor by 20% for 12 seconds. This skill will also be reset by this weapon's passive skill, Zeal, which causes your attacks and weapon skills to generate Zeal stacks. At 10 stacks, it resets Zealous Spin. Lastly, the weapon has an active skill called Iron Cyclone, which is a small charge skill with a 2-second stun on all enemies it hits. Alright everyone, thanks a ton for sticking to the video, despite it being on the longer side of what I usually create. If I try to summarize the warrior in one sentence, I'd say it feels like the most polished class in Farever. It has so many different playstyles that there's surely something for everyone interested, and I can highly recommend it to basically anyone. With this, we have covered 3 of the 4 classes in Farever. If you guys are interested in the Mage guide, please let me know down in the comments below. Likewise, if you have any sort of feedback, please let me know, and I'll keep it in mind in the next guide. If this video helped you, I'd super appreciate a like and subscribe, and a really heartfelt thank you to anyone who has been so supportive already. Have a good one. Matt out.